I'm Heather Antos, and I'm the group editor of licensing over at IDW Publishing, and you're listening to True North Country Comics Podcast.
Welcome to the True North Country Comics Podcast, dedicated to promote Canadian comic book, graphic novel creators, and supporters. I'm John Swinimer. On this episode, I chat with Heather Antos, comic book artist, writer, and editor, as she prepares for Toronto Comicon 2024. This podcast is available on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and YouTube. Please like and subscribe to that video channel. Toronto Comicon is a spectacular 3-day sci-fi, horror, anime, gaming, and comic book event in Canada that attracts thousands of people to come to the Metro Toronto Convention Centre. Heather Antos is an award-winning comic book artist, writer, and editor, most known for her work on Marvel's Star Wars and Deadpool lines, Image's Redlands, Injection, and Bitter Root, as well as one of the co-creators of Gwenpool. She is now the editor of IDW, overseeing licensed properties such as Star Trek. Heather also regularly appears on the YouTube channel Screen Crush, hosted by Ryan Airy. So, without further ado, here's my chat with Heather Antos, comic book artist, writer, and editor, as she prepares for Toronto Comicon 2024. So, Heather Antos, thank you very much for taking time to chat with me.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
I appreciate your time. Before we get started with all the questions, I'd like to know, what was the first comic book that you read?
Oh, God, I don't know. The first comic I remember buying was Green Lantern Secret Origins or Green Lantern Emerald Dawn, one of the two. Probably a Green Lantern book. We'll go with that.
Sounds good. Sounds good. Now, your bio lists you as an editor. And typically we don't get the opportunity to talk too often to editors on these podcasts. So with that in mind, I wonder if you could explain for us what an editor does in this comic book industry.
Yeah, so an editor is very similar to like a producer or a showrunner in Hollywood, where we kind of oversee the entire creative process from conception to completion. That is, sourcing ideas, casting talent, your writers, your artists, your colorists, your inkers, your letterers, what have you, your cover artists, giving creative notes, settling creative disputes between creators, communicating with marketing, with sales, with the publishers, with all the businessy people, maintaining the schedule, maintaining the budget for 10 to 20 different projects at the same time, rinse, wash, and repeat every single month.
Wow. So it's a lot more than what I thought was just like, does the comic book read okay? It's a lot more than that.
I mean, I think it can be distilled down to that. But yeah, a lot more goes. There's a lot of personalities to manage, let's say.
Sure. And most of the major publications have editors. It's not just, a writer comes in with a story and you match them up with an artist and away you go. There's a lot more to it than that.
There's a lot more to it than that. Yeah.
Very good. Well, we're talking today because you're going to be tabling at Toronto Comicon 2024. So I'd like to know, what is it about conventions that you like the most?
I really love getting to just meet the fans, meet the readers, and make new friends, and make new fans. Like, we create these stories, we tell these stories for the readers, for the fans, for connection. And there's nothing greater than when, I'm working on all of these comics in my room by myself, right? And you don't know if anyone's listening. You don't know if anyone's reading. You don't know if anyone likes it. But, you show up to a convention and there's a little girl who's dressed up as a character that you helped bring to life. And that's so cool to be a part of something that touches someone else in some capacity. There's no other feeling like it.
Well, you just mentioned one of the memorable moments that people might say, this is fantastic for me. But do you have any other memorable festival or convention moments from the past that really stand out?
I mean, it's definitely just always meeting the cosplayers. I'm so consistently impressed by the dedication and the craft to create and replicate and come up with some like incredible incredible in costumes, like especially costumes that are just like the most impractical that people should not be wearing, let alone to battle. You know, getting to see their own takes on these characters. Like for instance, I'm the co-creator of the character Gwenpool, and whenever I see, you know, people young, old, male, female, what have you, dress as Gwen, it's just it's the warmest feeling.
That is good. That is good. So I mentioned you'll be tabling at the con. I'm wondering if you could tell us a little bit about what will be on your table that attendees can get.
Yes, I will have a collection of books from my vast history in comics, from Marvel to Valiant to IDW, Image, and beyond. I will be promoting a lot of Star Trek, a lot of horror. I will have mystery bags of comics. So you can get a collection of 5 mystery comics for $10. I will have a bunch of prints for sale, stickers, and I will be taking commissions at the show.
Very nice. Very nice. Now, I know as an editor and as an artist, you're probably working on multiple things right now as we speak, but I'm wondering, is there anything that you're allowed to talk about that's coming out in the near future?
Yeah, so the one thing I'm very excited about is literally today, the day that we are recording this, up on Backer Kits, the campaign for the When I Was Young anthology, an anthology that is, all proceeds are going to help. All proceeds are going to be a donation to the Trevor Project to help prevent LGBTQI youth suicide. Just went live, so you can donate and get a copy now. And this is going to be the first comic that I ever draw interior pages for. So I'm very excited about that. I'm doing a story with Sam Max, who is from Canada. So there you go, synergy.
That's good. Good stuff. Now, as a professional in the comic book field, you've dealt with a lot of different characters, but when you come to these shows, typically someone comes up to your table and they would like advice on making their first comic book. What would you say to this person? Just one piece of advice.
Finish it. I think, or start it even, right? I think those are the 2 hardest things with any creative project is, you know, the staring at the blank pages. There's nothing scarier than that. And then also that, well, it's never finished because it's never perfect. And so I think, you know, a lot of people ask me all the time, like, how do I start? How do I become? How do I blah, 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 blah. And it's, you just do it. You just write the comic, you just draw the comic, you just start doing it, and then you finish it, and then you do the next one.
All right. Great advice for sure. Now, we've mentioned a lot of different things that you have on the go, but where do you recommend that people go online to find out about your current and your future projects?
Best way is my website, heatherantos.com. Pretty straightforward. It has links to all my other things, but if you just type Heather Antos on any of the social medias, I will probably come up.
Sounds good. Well, Heather, those are all the questions I have for you, but I'm wondering, is there something I didn't ask that you'd like to get across in this interview?
You didn't ask what my favorite animal is, and that is penguins.
Why is that now?
Why not?
Thanks to Heather for the chat. You can discover more about Heather online at heatherantos.com and on Instagram at heatherantos. And thanks to you for listening to the True North Country Comics podcast. If you haven't done so already, please subscribe to and like this podcast on Apple Podcasts. And please check out the TrueNorthCountryComics.com website. True North Country Comics is now on YouTube. Please like and subscribe to that video channel and hit the notification button. You can follow along at True North Country Comics on most social media sites. You can send any and all feedback to John at TrueNorthCountryComics.com. Thanks for listening, and come back soon for another episode. Bye for now. True North Country Comics Podcast is copyright True North Country Comics, copyright 2024.